Yes, we are live. Hello, and I'm with several people, and we have one more, and most of us speak Russian for some reason. But the webinar will be in English. Hello, Valeria. Hello, Wendy, Maria, Katvon. Katvon, if you like, why don't you turn off your camera so you're not, or you can just remove the blockage from your camera. Faces are welcome here. And hi, Galina, and hi, Wendy, Katvon.
Hi, all.
And hi, Dave. All right, so today we have, let's start with galactic languages and we'll see if it works. Wendy, would you like to give a blessing for the webinar?
I'd love to. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, the first message is simply open your heart, and that allows all to flow. And where I'm hearing gratitude to Max. Thank you for opening up this language of light about DNA and all of us, and how we all contain the star. The stars are within us. So it's as if this, the science and the spiritual are all one, but not everybody's on board about that. So so this is also a way that Max can bring this out into the open contact world. So thank you all for being here. The place where I began speaking light language. Thank you, Max.
Richard, can you close your belly? You don't look too good for the broadcast, but otherwise you're great. Yep. Thank you very much. Yeah, hana ata ya ula ana ya ona ya hana ata ula aba ana unaha. Arwayana hana ula ayana uta ada ana una ya hamaha ya ayula hayana una ya ata ula yakta. Ishana ushata aishana isa a uisa ha hadana ula ha na. Richard, at least one button here. Otherwise, they'll have to turn off the camera. You are not appropriate for my audience. We are watched by, in principle, it's 5,000 subscribers on this channel. So you're good now. Thank you very much. We have Valeria, Wendy, Maria, Galina, Richard, Dave, Katvon, and me, Max Rempel. And for those who are watching us live, you can see us on the site xg1.org. And in the first line, big red letters, you will see the link to Zoom, and you can come in, and hopefully you'll be able to join us. Join us now. And for those who didn't see it yet, here is the website. Hopefully I can. Yeah, that's the site. Maybe. Just a sec. I'm almost there. Here. Can you see the site? We are live. Hello, and no, it's not the site. I will show you the site. Just a sec. I will show it here. XG1. Here. Here's the site. Can you see the site? Starseed Genetics, xg1.org. Can you see it? Anybody, can you see it? Please turn on the microphone. Tell me.
Yes, I can see.
Yes.
Okay.
I see it.
Thank you. So Starseed Genetics just started 10 days ago. XG1 stands for Extraterrestrial Genetics Project 1. Here's a link to Zoom, and there is a noise coming from Richard. No, maybe from Galina. I'll turn off Galina sound. You can turn it on when you need it. Okay, next we'll invite. So here is the explanation what we do. Here is a way to purchase the subscription service, and I'll explain what the service is. You can pay through debit card, Venmo, PayPal, or you can connect to me and I can take money in any other way, checks. I can do the checks. And there is research proposal, which is like the whole science research proposal right here. And Richard is part of that proposal, which is great. And then another explanation, and there is people. Where is people? Here for investors. If people want to invest, there is information for investors. And people is me, Richard here, David Little, and our advisor, Stanley Krippner, the advisor of Richard from his, through the whole career of Richard. Okay, and now the whole principle, I will try to jump it through. I will see how far does it go. Maybe I don't want to jump right away. Maybe I want to slowly introduce. So I'll turn off the screen sharing. So the idea is that the aliens manifested here in many ways, but not in global human consciousness. The global is still sort of on the fence. Some people believe it, the mainstream doesn't believe it, but maybe over a year ago, there was a switch. Instead of making fun of extraterrestrial contacts, now they are making a surprising face and say, is it possibly real? And they don't go any further, but at least they make a serious face and ask whether it's real. So obviously there is some switch happened on the top, which allows the mainstream to accept that. And now they're asking, where is the evidence? And I'm thinking that the easiest way to grab the evidence is from extraterrestrial hybridization program, alien hybridization program. So what do we know about this hybridization program? In my universe, it started before humans started. It started before us. Blavatsky says there were 5 root races. We are the 5th one, Homo sapiens. The first ones were Polarians. They were higher dimensional. Then there were Hyperboreans. They were higher dimensional. Then gradually they grounded to this dimension, which were Lemurians. And native Australians are descendants of this Lemurian race. Then there were Atlanteans, and I assume they were elongated skull race with longer skulls. And that's why we have in our noble headdresses, there is either big hair on the back to hide the big skull, or elongated skulls, or some sort of a big head going this way. So this is likely an Atlantean race. It was different. They can hybridize with us, but it's a different race. And they already had, Lemurians and Atlanteans already had open contact with the aliens. Aliens were landing. They did technology. They had artificial climate. And they had, Atlanteans went all crazy with genetic engineering. So they created all sorts of hybrids. Especially they were interested in physical development of the body. So they created special bodies to have more sex, and the sex in a very interesting ways. So Atlanteans, but then they sort of messed up their karma, and they had to leave the planet. So most of Atlanteans left the planet. The leftovers, they had civil war, and there was a big disaster. They crashed something. In one encounter, they crashed artificial satellite on the planet, and they killed lots of the population there. The whole Atlantis sort of was destroyed. But there were leftovers of the colonies. And the last thing happened, the last couple of big destructions of Atlantis happened around 70,000, and the last one was 22,000 years ago. And Homo sapiens was on the outskirts of Atlantis, and it was undeveloped, and there were Neanderthals and other hominids, primates. And then gradually we were hybridized by the aliens to create the next race, which we are. So last 200,000, we were gradually being composed. And they gave us technology, gave us domesticated animals, domesticated crops, and kind of guided us to the first civilizations, which were like Hindu civilization, Chinese, Egyptian, Assyrian, and others. So, and then gradually they went into background. Why did it happen? I don't know. That's a miracle. But there was hybridization, ancient hybridization program, which is essential. So we are hybrids between local primates, local ancestor, primate ancestors, including Neanderthals. We have some Neanderthal genetics. And we have around 22 main races who contributed in humanity. So we are both from this planet and of this planet. We are hybrids. And the aliens interchange travel between the different planets and stars for a long time, so well before we were created. So the first humans were cat feline humans were larans in this galaxy, and then there were lots more, including triangle between Pleiades, Orion, and Earth. They were like, and solar system, they went back and forth, Martians and so on. So there were like a constant exchange between Orion, Pleiades, and us. So that's what we know from the before human. So the humans are everywhere. Also, Earth humans are on Taygeta. They have big population on Taygeta star in Pleiades, and there is planet Erra, and they have lots of humans which just came there. They were taken as slaves 2,000 years ago, and then now they are free. And even the president, king of Erra, is a human, Kenjin. So that's, hey, Casey, we have one more guest, a good friend. Now, pretty much everybody here are friends, except I don't know Cat one, also a friend, but I don't know yet. So that we know about ancient history. Now, the modern history is that, and it continued to this day, but in hidden form. In 1954, which is quite a while ago, 70 years ago exactly. Hey, Casey, we are live on YouTube, and welcome. Nice to have you. So you have nice design everywhere. You look great. So exactly 70 years ago, United States and allies made were shopping around, and Pleiadians and Arcturians gave them love and light and promised ascension. And the Greys, partnering with Nordics, promised them weapons. And obviously the government made a choice. Instead of ascension, they accepted the weapon technologies in exchange for the permission to do the alien hybridization program. And then they started the modern alien hybridization program. The main motivation for this program was that the Zetas are the descendants from us in the future, but not from this timeline, from a parallel timeline. So other humans from this planet on the parallel timeline developed into a Zeta Gray civilization race, and they did it through making themselves peaceful and super talented. So they are very smart and super peaceful, but by removing this aggression gene, they sort of messed up the health of the collective biofield. Maybe I can speak quieter. I don't think I think it will be fine because I have automatic volume, so I should be speaking quieter. So they messed up the collective biofield, and now their civilization essentially is the biological part of it is messed up. They're sick. They're dying. They can't multiply. They used to multiply in vitro in devices, but they can't even do that anymore. So they're sick. And then by that time they figured out the time travel. So they went back to our timeline, and they hybridize their race to their healthy stock from the parallel timeline, Homo sapiens from this timeline with us, to create hybrid races. And one of the hybrid races they created is Yael, and another one is Sasani, which is also they named changed the name to Shakani, Sasani to Shakani, and lots of others. And then lots of other civilizations, they all jumped on the planet and continued the alien hybridization programs, lots of them, including Yael, including reptilians, Pleiadians, Orions, Nordics, not sure about Syrians or Arcturians. I think Arcturians do a little bit. So, and lots of others. The main motivation for them is that they all want to play on our planet because our planet is special. They want to land here as hybrids and live here, because with our climate and our vibration, the aliens from their vibrational state, they can't really be here normally. So they have to create hybrids which will be here, and then they can incarnate in hybrids, or they can create bodies which are hybrid and just implant their souls here. Like they don't have to wait for to die. They can just kind of play there here without dying. They can just incarnate here without actually turning off their alien bodies. So that's the essential genetic layout: ancient hybridization, modern hybridization. Now, what percent of the humans is hybridized with modern hybridization? I don't know, but it can be anywhere from fraction of percent, let's say 0.1% of the population, to 1%, I think is safe estimate, to maybe 10%, which is a bit inflated, and even maybe more. Maybe everybody has modern hybridization. We don't know. But even if it's 1%, I think we can just use modern genetics, more classical genetic, chemical genetic analysis, without any fancy stuff. It's affordable. We can do chemical genetic analysis to analyze the DNA. And I'm tempted to run downstairs and bring the kit which is used for that, but I probably will do it in a second when somebody will take the microphone. But so there is a kit. We already got the first customer who paid, and I started the company. Actually, the project, the company is already there, DNA Resonance Research Foundation, but the project I started is XG1, and we offer to analyze your DNA and see if there are alien genes there. So there is lots of genetic analysis we can do, but the first analysis is super simple. Like the model is that when they do hybridization, there is 2 human parents, which are abductees. They take them, they hybridize their DNA, and then there are 2 alien parents, and the human parents and alien parents become grandparent of the child. So the child has the DNA from 2 human parents, the DNA from 2 alien parents. But in normal, like classical earthly genetics, there is 50% and 50% of the variants or markers or alleles. Let's say markers, let's call it markers. 50% of markers from father, 50% of mother. Now, if it is 4 parents, like grandparents, and then 1 child, that should be 25, 25, 25, 25. But I think the alien hybridization, I'm pretty sure, introduces, say, 49% of the parent and 1% of alien DNA. So it's a gradual mutation, or gradual genetic drift, genetic modification. So if you put too much alien, the humans become too alienated and they can't really function here. So you have to gradually uplift the whole population. So that's what they do. But this 1% we can easily test using genetics, because right now the kit analyzes chemically, very conventionally, analyzes 500,000 markers. So if it's 1% of 500,000 markers, that's I'm blanking on. Can you do the math? We do 500,000. So we get 5,000 markers from the aliens. So what will happen, I think, if we take two parents and a child, we'll see that some of the parental markers will be missing, say 1,000 from one parent, 1,000 from another, and some markers will appear from the aliens, and that is very easy to see computationally, super easy. It's like very easy. So we have already a program where we have the kids. We use the most popular company, which is 23andMe, and we just accept triplets from two parents and a child. Hey, Karen. Two parents and a child, and we start the analysis. 23andMe takes about a month, and our computation analysis will take about a week. So we already accept the samples, send the money to me, and I will do it. The initial price on the website is $900 for 3 samples, and initially for you guys, I will have the discount, just the bare minimum, which doesn't include any labor. It's just how much you pay 23andMe and the programmer, which is half price. So for $450, I can analyze 3 samples, but I require at this moment 2 parents and at least 1 child. The more children, the better. Like 2 parents or 2 parents, 2 children, 2 parents, 3 children, something like that. So that's about it. And I invite the discussion. I think I jumped it all in 15-minute summary.
Max, can I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
Good. The reason I call you Mad Max is hair. And what I'm doing now with my thing is I just pull my left eye out like David Bowie. Have you ever seen that movie, The Man Who Fell to Earth? I'm O negative, and I have, when I did Groom Lake and met Krill, I actually now believe that was my future programming myself. For right now, I don't know. Anyway, I got to go to the airport now and pick some people up. It's nice to see you, Max. That rosacea that you have on your face, what you can do is Nizoral. It's a bacteria on your scalp that is like I had it like that, and I started using Nizoral. Just took away my rosacea. I don't know.
Rick, unfortunately, the sound quality of your microphone is so bad, I understand pretty much nothing. But it sounds like Americans understand you well. It's just my Russian ear is not tuned up to Porco.
I know, and I'm just getting old, and I can't hear it all. Dementia. Uncle Fester's best girlfriend.
I don't understand a word. If anybody can translate, Americans understand you perfectly, I know. Karen or Casey, like we have several Americans. Can you translate to me if there is anything that I need to understand?
Call me this week sometime, if you can.
Hey Rick, I don't understand you on the phone as well. The only way to communicate properly is through voice messaging on WhatsApp. Then the sound quality is super good. If you do voice messaging, it goes, it's high quality recording, and then it sends it over internet, so I hear you perfectly.
Макс, он написал тебе в чате то, что он хотел сказать.
Спасибо, мне кто-то переписал. Thank you. Yeah, that I heard. TARDIS needs a jump. I know what TARDIS is. Okay. Okay, got it. So any more comments, questions? Hey, Casey.
Hey. You squeezed too much information and too less of time, so I'm not understanding completely what kind of samples you're needing. And then also you said samples from multiple people. What if your parents aren't alive and you have no children?
Right. So there are different types of genetic analysis we could do, like about 5 different analyses. The most sophisticated one would be to do interviews of everybody and interviews of lots of abductees, contactees, and they tell us that they come from that alien race. And then we analyze a single sample from a person, and we look at all the markers, and then we see these people are from Pleiades, and they have this marker. These people claim that they are from reptilians, they have this marker. So once we have enough samples, at least I say 100, 200, with different interviews and self-reported alien connections, then we can find the correlations. Right now, we have 0. So the first samples will arrive soon, but we don't have yet. So I cannot do this correlation analysis for individuals yet. Eventually, when we have a database, we could. What I can do now, I can do only the families with 2 parents and a child and analyze unusual inheritance, which I called emergence of markers. So on the planet, the geneticists, sometimes we notice that new markers in a child come up from nowhere, and lots of them. And when we did it in the past, we thought that that is a mistake. Somebody switched the samples or something weird happened. Nobody ever investigated that. There is no reports of unusual inheritance. People say mutations or just random tons of mutations, something like that. So now we have a hypothesis that can be tested. So, I mean, if you find in a 500,000 markers, if you find 1,000 markers which came from neither one of the parents, that's a huge discovery. If that is consistently correlated with self-report of being alien contactee, being a starseed, then it's huge. And it's like a very easy science if it is that simple. So the way we collect the samples is I order the kits from a company, the biggest genetics company, public analysis of the samples. It's called 23andMe, the company. It's here in California, not far from here. I think it's even on headquarters are in San Diego. So I order the kits. They arrive by mail to a customer. And the kit contains a little brush, which is similar to toothbrush, the brush the mouth. Very, like, for 1 minute, painless, just brush the inside of the mouth. There is a lot of cells there. Then they put the brush in a tube with the solution, close the cup, mail it back to 23andMe. Right now, they have to register their kit. And when you register, you can put a fake name if you like, if you want a little bit more privacy. And then 23andMe, for a month, they analyze the samples. They send back to a customer the email with the results. The customer has to share the results with me. I take this data, raw data, give it to a programmer, and the programmer is then will look for, right now, 3 samples and see if there is emergent markers in the child. That's very simple scheme. And the boxes, they say 23andMe, I have them downstairs.
Okay, so but you can't do people whose parents aren't still alive and who have no children. You have to have them.
I can analyze, but only to the extent that we look at that, we don't have any reference. How then do we tell that they're abnormal?
Right. The reason I ask, because that's my situation.
Yep. There is a more expensive analysis, which is, we don't do that yet, but we can. It's about $3,500, roughly $4,000. We can analyze the whole genomic sequence from the beginning to the end. 99% of the genome we can analyze, except the ends of the chromosomes, which are extra cost. It's just too expensive. So for $4,000, we can do the whole genomic analysis, and then we can compare it to lots of other published genomes, human genomes. There is, I think there is about 50 or 100, around 100 published genomes, and we can say, you look different, there is more markers. That we can do, but that's more expensive. We can do that. Right now, we don't have, it's still just a cost issue and numbers issue. Once we have lots more samples, we can just do the correlations. Ideally, we would like to get the samples from 23andMe, the standard ones, like population, and play with them and say abductees are different, or starseeds are different from a population based on that markers. We don't have that, the database. And maybe sometime we will be able to purchase some sort of a subset of that database. I'm pretty sure there are such databases for purchase. We just didn't get there yet. But it's just classical chemical analysis. It's there is no magic there. I mean, there's technological magic, but the body contains about 250 grams of DNA, and it's a chemical substance. It's whitish when it's precipitated from the solution, so you can actually see the hard substance. You can touch it. It's a gel, but it's like a whitish gel. So it's a substance. We analyze the substance, and it has letters. The human genome in one cell has 6 billion letters, A, G, C, T, and the sequence of the conventional genome is known for 25 years now, 24 years. So it's just a chemical analysis. We can do it now.
And then with this data, where do you go with it?
Publish and give it back to you. Give it back to you and publish. As soon as we find the first reproducible emergent markers, event of marker emergence, then before publishing, obviously, we want to reproduce it. We will repeat the analysis, we'll pay for analysis, we'll repeat it again. Make sure it's not a mistake. We probably even do a different company for reference. There is like about 5 major companies that do analysis, and we'll see if the emergence repeats, then that's the case. And it's very different from having a child from mixed up in the hospital, because the mixed up child, like unrelated child, would look very different. It would have no parent markers, but here we expect 49% from each parent and 1% from and 2 times 1% from alien parents, or something like that. So the sensitivity is huge. We can sense even like 0.1% of alien infusion. We should be able to see.
But
We
then,
haven't done it yet. It's all just started like 10 days ago. But we got the first family of several people with parents and children, and they should have received the kits yesterday. So they will be sending them soon, hopefully.
just wondering, what do you project might be built from this? Like,
Yeah.
with knowledge.
I hope that once it's out of the box, out in the open, it's super easy to test. I know there is a lot of people who have money, even middle class or higher income people, who are fully in the know, fully understanding what's happening, and the prices for them are, this kind of prices are not a limitation at all. So once they know it's possible, they can easily hire a geneticist, a bioinformatician. It can be done very, very easy. There is no just comparing two texts. It's nothing fancy, no fancy computation. It's like one text, another text, compare, or list and compare lists, and they will reproduce it and find it that, find about themselves if it is true or not, and then it becomes an industry, I guess. I hope it will become an industry. It's so easy to reproduce. I don't have to be the one who is making it. Anybody can do it. And once people realize they are having alien genetics injected, infused, added, that would be the best proof of the alien hybridization program.
Didn't that make them targets?
Yeah, of course. That's, we have now the culture of giving equal rights to different races. So racial discrimination is sort of, in the Western world at least, there is a culture of not discriminate against race. So now we'll discover that hybrids are alien race. So we should start talking about and build a culture of anti-discrimination against alien hybrids, I guess. But the good news is that I don't think there is anybody on the planet who is not a hybrid. It's only modern hybrids versus ancient hybrids. There is nothing non-hybrid. I don't think there exist any humans which are non-hybrids. It's not possible.
So you're looking at this as a potential tool for the advancement of human consciousness.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the tool for awakening to our galactic connections. And right now it didn't materialize yet. It didn't manifest in the whole planet. It's manifested for a small subset, maybe 0.1% of population, even less, maybe 1 in 10,000 is a believer and actually in the know, but everybody else is sort of on the fence and they're waiting for the collective consciousness to sway from discarding it to accepting it. And once there is plenty of evidence, when it will become, I think it's the strongest evidence, because you don't have to go and find anything outside. You just look at your own DNA and you will find the evidence. I had similar experience with evidence of biofield and aura and like special energies. Until then I was reading about experiments, but when I started doing Reiki myself, it was pretty recently, about 17 years ago. I started doing Reiki myself. I got my Reiki degree, and here in my hands there is a proof of biofield. I can feel it, I can send it, and I have done kind of nice experiments where I do nothing but people feel it without me telling them what it is. So I got first-hand experience of experimenting at will. Whenever I want to experiment with it, I can get the proof, and that was huge for me. So I can produce it in personal experience right away. So with alien hybridization, lots of people can test that by themselves and get that experience. So that I think is huge, to have it first-hand experience instead of somebody telling you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That addressed all my questions.
All right, I guess I will go bring the kit, and guys, feel free to pop up and start speaking.
I've not come to one of these meetings before. So hello, Karen, Maria, Galina, Kat Von, and Wendy. Surprised I can actually read that.
Hi there. It's my first meeting too.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
well, welcome from another newbie.
It's my first meeting.
Oh, is it all of our first meeting here? That's funny. Well, not Karen's, of course.
Hey,
It's not my first meeting.
Okay, oh, good. And I recognize you. Not from here, though. Aren't you a channel?
Me?
Yeah. I can't see your name.
Yes, I actually started with Max when he started Human Colony. I was right there with him. I was actually in one of Max's first Reiki sessions. So it's funny that I was recalling that moment as he was speaking about it. So anyway, here you go, Max.
ayata wana hana yete ya hana. Ula ya ha. Ana ya na ya na 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 ya na 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 u na ya na 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 ula ya na na. Here is the kit. 23andMe. Now they're a little bit more expensive than others, but they're still way better than others. So I open the kit. So the kit comes to you just from them. And guys, for those who just joined me, we are live, and you can find the link to Zoom at xg1.org. Big red letters in the top of the website. Come into the Zoom. So I open the kit, 23andMe. I don't know what's inside actually. I did it last time many years ago. It says hi, which means that you have to actually register it online. Hi, and then it has something inside. Okay, so it has this thingy. Oh, and the solution is right there. Okay, hold on, hold on. The solution is, can you see the bubbles?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So the solution is right there, and the brush. I don't see the brush. I'm promising everybody to have a brush, and I don't see it.
You hold it in your hands.
No, that's not a brush. It is a
No?
tube. It's a tube.
Uh,
They changed something. I think you just wash your mouth instead of brushing, maybe. Hold on. There's no brush. When I did it last time, it was a brush. Now it's something else. Okay, sorry guys, I'm not qualified enough. So the cup is there. I think you just wash your mouth. It's a mouthwash. There's no brush. And when I did it many years ago, it was with a brush, so you can actually brush it. And in our lab, we did the genetic test. We mailed out brushes and then collected the samples, and then we did hundreds of people with the brushes. And the brush was like small brush, like. Okay, so now you just wash your mouth. I have to. Okay, I fix my image. Yeah. Okay. Let's chat about things. Microphone is open. Yeah. Okay. I will talk about things. So the next idea is alien skulls. There are alien skulls everywhere, and the analysis of an alien skull is about, I would say, under $1,000. We can analyze alien skulls, and then we can correlate the sequences of the alien skulls with actual samples from customers. That would cost money, and for that we need either research funding from sponsors or investment funding from investors. So the idea for investors is that first, probably will be a lot of people will want to know their alien connections. And second, once we discover alien genes, they are not passive, these genes are doing something. And you know pretty well what genes are doing. The alien genes make you special. They give you higher dimensional connection. You can have a more or less telepathic connection with your race, alien race. So you have more telepathy. Usually, like many alien races give you better mental abilities, IQ, then give you better psychic abilities. And psychic abilities can be like plenty. One of them is clairvoyance, seeing the future, seeing remotely, connection to your spirits, reading minds, controlling minds, mind control, especially some of the races have perfect talent for mind control. So when I started doing the plan for actually collecting the samples, I was thinking, where are the best talent? Where are the people? What professions would hybrids have? And I realized that some of the hybrids would work in car sales, because some car sales people on the floor, they can mind control you to buy things, and that's a special psychic talent. So and other type of face-to-face sales, but some of the sales can be remote, like on Zoom sales. But salespeople, many of them are alien hybrids. Then lots of military are reptilian hybrids, and corporate managers, corporate leaders are hybrids. Elon Musk, I was told recently through Jim that it is Orion hybrid, and Orion hybrids are having first technologically super advanced, super smart, and second, they are control freaks, which are actually capable to control people with their mind. So Elon Musk, it would be nice to genotype that, him. Any comments, questions? Maria, Wendy, Katwan, Karen.
Well, I'll go ahead and speak up again.
Yes, please do.
Because I'm nothing if not inquisitive. I'm just wondering, I'm still wondering, sort of the purpose of figuring out whether your biological structure has any alien infusion in it. Like wouldn't you're familiar with my work, yeah?
No, I'm completely blank.
Oh, okay. Well, let me put something up here as an example. Whoops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. I bring through the extraterrestrials and my awakening. Well, I wish I could pick that.
Oh, I need to give you permission, I guess. Let me see.
Oh, I'm trying to put a background behind me.
I don't. Oh, I know. Okay, now you should be able to. Hold on. Yep. Try now.
Okay, all I'm trying to really do is put a virtual background up behind myself,
Okay.
but it's not letting me do it.
Okay.
But once everybody else is talking, I'll see if I can get something I can screen share with. During my own awakening, a dormant spiritual skill was awakened in me working with crystals, specifically as communication devices. And I'm able to literally FaceTime with the ETs, not just in a way that I myself experience, but in a way that I can actually photograph and show you. And I have been sharing portrait style versions of hundreds and hundreds of the ETs since it began. So just having something like this happen in your life would be a marker in itself, like the biology wouldn't have to be tested. If the consciousness is there, then the biology is sort of upgraded to match that. And wouldn't that just in itself be an infusion of that shift from 3D human to 4D whatever? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a huge question. Basically, you are saying that when consciousness shifts, DNA changes. That's what you're saying. So
Yes, absolutely. Because a higher consciousness is a higher frequency vibration, and that automatically starts adjusting your physical system. And that's what Kundalini, basically is the preparing of the body to hold a higher consciousness.
that's sort of a very weird play between you create your reality and DNA is physical, real, fixed. Like we believe that DNA is fixed, that like from day to day, if you take the DNA from a dinosaur, it's millions of years ago, still here, it's fixed. Human genome is fixed, but it is 6 billion letters. So for us, it's impossible to remember the whole thing. So when it's sequenced, it is in a computer.
Yeah.
And when you shift, it should change in the computer. That sequence should change. You just shift from one reality where it was 100% Earth human to another reality when it's 1% alien, to another reality when it's 10% alien. So you just shift the timelines where the whole scenario is different. So I don't think that violates the idea of, I don't think just by, it's possible maybe. Imagine a yogi who shifts their DNA from one sequence to another, and then gives away does the new analysis, and the analysis would change some of the sequences. I think it's not unthinkable. Oh, I know this ones. Yeah, I know. Are you in the how do you call it? Keepers of the Codes, the group, Facebook group called Keepers of the Codes, no?
No, I'm not familiar
You
with
should be there. It's my favorite. It's really the best. I mean, there are many of them, but this is the best, well-kept group of sharing such things as vibrations, art, and light languages. Pure group. There is nothing else. You're not allowed to discuss anything. Just sharing light language recordings and art and music, and that's super. Yeah, that our people are there. I want to genotype the whole group. Like there are hundreds of people there. But I cannot advertise, so I have to like pick and choose people and ask them. Yeah. Are you doing it through computer programs, right?
No, this is my consciousness, a crystal, and my cell phone camera taking pictures of what I myself am seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you use some sort of transformation to make it a mirror?
Oh, to mirror them forward, yes. They don't come through facing forward. And I can't do this without it looking funny, but I'll show you. Darn it, I don't know why that keeps happening. They generally come through at angles, such as that, but let me see. Don't mirror so he doesn't look funny. There we go. So yeah, they'll always come through at an angle, and I can mirror them to face front, which we do for purposes of Tritat, conscious gazing, eye gazing, to help prepare the human central nervous system for contact, which is what these are all about. So this is more like how they would normally come through, sort of at an angle. And this is blown up, but if you look at the original frame of this, you can actually see my hand resting behind him.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, we mirror them forward like this so people can practice eye to eye gazing with them. Yeah.
I see that with all photos. I see that in every photo. You see that in fire. If you mirror fire, you always have a face.
Oh, wow.
So there's always a face in fire. There's a face in scenery. There's just tons. If you mirror enough, you see tons and tons of faces.
Yeah, although you don't have to mirror these because their faces are there. They're just at angles and they're not looking directly at you. But yeah, I agree with that.
But these are all mirrored, correct?
No, they're not all mirrored. They don't come through. They don't come. Well, let me show you again how they actually come through. This is an original frame that I'm about to show you. So that's an original orientation of the frame. This is not a mirrored frame. I did put his second eye there because their faces overlap. As you know, when you're doing the mirrors, you'll see the faces overlap. Every face shares an eye with another being that's connected to it, and it just sort of goes out to infinity. So that's not altered except for that second eye has been put there.
So how do you arrive at these? Can I missed that part because I'm walking around doing house cleaning at the same time. So but how do you, can I just ask how you arrive at these?
What's my process of capturing the photos?
Yeah.
I just sit down and take my cell phone camera sight into my crystal, literally right inside of it.
Oh, you're doing it in the crystals. You're finding them in the crystals.
Yes, I'm using just a crystal, and the beings will begin coming out at me, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Can I tell you what I do? What I do is I do social media for the ashram where I live. And I'm constantly having to take photos, existing photos of someone on a background. And then the background won't be long enough or tall enough. And I'm having to sort of duplicate the background. Oh, that's beautiful. Duplicate the background and then flip it to create a continuous background. But instantly there's a face. Whenever I'll take a tree that's cut in half and I have to duplicate it to stretch the background, I have a face there. And so I literally see them every day. And primarily it's in nature that I'm seeing them. Because I'm constantly expanding the sky. So I have to cut a cloud in half and then I'm duplicating it and flipping it to put it together so it looks like one cloud, but it's inevitably a face. Or I'm doing water or trees, and every day I'm seeing that. So that's why I was just interested in how you were finding yours. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
just
it's the same crystals or
crystal.
different crystals?
And they come right through. I've done videos on this, the crystal work explained, which if anybody's interested in it can find it on my YouTube, which is just my name, Casey Clare.
I would love to have you as a guest on our webinar in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, sure, anytime.
Okay. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Just please go ahead. But I just really wanted to understand because I've been experiencing this for several years, but I didn't put any phenomena on it. I'm always just like, well, I believe and I know that there's a being attached to everything and energies are everywhere. So I just accepted this as being beings, but it's nice to see that somebody else is seeing it. That's why.
An endless collage of beings, actually. So when you go into the crystal, all of the faces are overlapped, just thousands of them. It just seems endless. Every face is comprised of many other faces, and all of this can be seen in the crystal. And it's just proof that consciousness comprises everything. Literally, the consciousness of individual entities literally comprises everything, including the space that we seem to be in, not just things. So yeah, incredible. But what first started coming through the crystal were entire stories. Yeah. So very few other people can see these, but I have a really good one of my birth into this earth life, and the whole story is there. I started doing the beings' faces like this because other people couldn't read the stories. They couldn't make anything out. So I put my brain to work and thought, well, how can I get people to see that there's actually something happening here? And so we learned how to step down 60 transmissions into sort of a 3D ability to see. So that beta brainwave, that bandwidth would let them see what was actually there. And then from there, we work on expanding that. So that's when I started doing the mirrors. So people could do talk on the beings, eye gazing with the beings, because then the consciousness just starts seeing everything else that's there. So we just sort of worked it backwards. Instead of starting at the higher dimensional, we're coming down into a lower dimensional, and then expanding people's consciousness from there. But mostly it's the central nervous system we're going after. We want to prepare people's central nervous system for contact. And eye gaze with this being, and you will feel your central nervous system start to activate without doubt. Yeah. Some of them are easier than others. Anyway, I didn't want to take the show over with that. Just to say that, you know, when these things start happening, and this is a form of channeling, it's just visual channeling. Anybody who has opened themselves up to channel surely has expanded their consciousness into, you know, a larger consciousness, and your body has to acclimate and change to that higher awareness. Is anybody else familiar with that idea? Or
Cool. How do you make the background to change? I also want that. That's super cool.
I'm sorry, what was that?
How do you make, what program do you use to make the background to change? I'm sorry, I'm technological. Maybe I'm Orion.
What program do I use to do the mirrors?
No, to do like behind you, there is like slideshow. How do you make it slideshow behind you?
Oh, so you go into the little caret on your video where it says video down at the bottom of your screen.
It's within Zoom.
And it will say choose virtual background.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't match the vibration. The vibration was very high. And then how do you do your Zoom? Okay, but that's super cool. But even that background is super cool, the one on the wall.
This is just the wall behind me.
Yeah, it's not just a wall, it's super nice wall. Okay, so ayata ana ata Allah. So right. I've been in the worlds which have no faces. I mean, we are like humans, so we are excited to see faces, but there is like worlds and worlds which are so foreign. There is no faces. There are snake worlds with no faces, just snakes, and there is some other weird factories which have no beings like us. So that was pretty painful to be there. So when I came back, I was super happy to be here on this planet with faces and very sweet and friendly vibration. There are worlds which are much harder, tougher. So, but we are attracting some beings with faces. Even here, there are the insects, how do you call them? The arachnas, the spiders with 8 eyes. But the fishes with 2 eyes, they're funny. They have human expressions.
Yeah, I get that through the crystal too. All kinds of different beings. Yeah.
Are you using the same crystal or many different crystals?
To do the work that I just showed you, I
Yeah.
just use a single crystal.
Wow, that's great. I like that. Okay, cool.
So suppose I have the crystal, okay? It has to be transparent, right? So I face it right there. Nothing happens. But your crystal is transparent, right?
Yeah, this is going to be in the crystal work explained, describing sort of what I feel is the perfect crystal to work with for communications applications, you know, so specifically for that purpose. Mine is a teardrop shape, which, you know, sort of sets her perfectly in my hand for because I really have to rotate it, and it makes her to where she's not easy to drop. So that shape is really great. She's partially transparent. She has some inclusions. She has inner planes. She has a just enormous rainbow structure in the center of her, which seems to be growing since I've been doing this work. Yeah, and that provides a lot of the color that you see in the frames.
I will use DNA solution. I mean, I'm all about DNA, so cool. That is not a crystal, it's a solution. It's a massage therapy with anise oil, massage oil with anise. So even there you can get something.
Oh, you can get beautiful things in reflections in the water. Yeah, I was getting it like directly from the sky and in water droplets and things like that first. And 2D entities started showing up in the trees, and like all of that sort of happened before the first instance of someone coming through the crystal. And then when it came through the crystal, yeah, that's when I just started focusing just on that. Yeah, because I can go into all dimensions co-simultaneously that way, not just the ones peeking through on our 3D space here.
I want that thing on the web camera, so when I speak, it starts changing. Some sort of transformation. I was thinking about like some sort of transformation device, optical, not electronic. All right, any more topics? Anna.
Just Casey, I sent you a direct message if you see it. So Max, I have a question. Someone said to you, why are we doing this? And your thing is about human rights, right? It's about
I say human rights is super important, but it's not human, it's hybrid rights. Hybrid rights as human rights. Hybrids are humans. Humans are us. We come in peace. Basically, modern hybrids versus ancient hybrids. Yeah. But I don't think it's the main topic. The main topic, actually, I didn't pronounce. No, I did pronounce the main topic. There are multiple things, but one of the themes is I did pronounce that for the humanity to awaken to our alien ancestry and alien connections, it would be super helpful to put a hand on something physical. And this chemical analysis of DNA is a perfect meditation for humanity to actually feel our alien connections. Once we see that, wow, many of us are not children of our parents 100%, not 100% children, there is emergence of alien markers, then it will be a big excuse for disclosure and opening up. And actually what will happen, the Galactic Federation is waiting for us to officially invite them. We have to, our official leaders should invite them. At least one country, ideally some group of countries should invite them. And then there is a whole protocol how the gradual contact is enabled for the planet, which emerges from isolation into the galaxy. So it's in plans, but it's sort of been delayed by many reasons. And one of the reasons is that the economy is very unstable. The doggy wants something, just said. So that's like manifesting from the idea to the material. Like it's already as idea, it already will fully develop, but how does it manifest in the physical? And I think just doing the chemical analysis should allow it to manifest. And then when the aliens come, I think it would be nice to have some sort of centers where we could mingle with them, and the center should be protected because obviously there will be a lot of humans who would want to get rid of them. So to have safe places, there should be some sort of centers, and I think universities would be a great place. Universities and churches would be great places where people can actually meet in structured and protected environment. Maybe corporations as well. Corporations, big protected places, military bases, I don't think are good. So normally they would start doing a military base because everything is protected there. But then you could probably do it in hospitals, churches, corporate offices, and universities. And I like universities better because it's just more peaceful. And then they will want to mingle with us and actually have sex. And humans would love to have sex with aliens. So that's the next stage.
Okay.
And then children will be born. Like that happened in Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union opened up, there were a lot of people who just came to pick up wives and husbands and lovers. And that becomes formalized because first aliens are allowed to come in who already have relatives. So there were people allowed in who had relatives. So aliens which are already looking like humans and who have relatives here, hybrids, will come first. And initially they don't share the technology, they only share the culture. So there'll be like concerts and other performances. So Pleiadians will come and give us like some weird music concerts and acrobatic performances. When they do, they dance and they sing, and when they dance, they fly. So the Pleiadian flying dance would be like cool.
Okay. I'm still laughing. I don't think aliens coming across the border into Russia being like foreigners is the same as aliens coming across the border into Russia to just have sex with women, get wives. That's why I'm laughing.
No, aliens meaning
I know, but
Westerners were coming to Russia, and we were allowed out.
A common denominator of like you're meeting beings from another planet, and there's just going to be a bunch of people that just want to have sex with them versus learning anything about where they're from and what they're about. I just think that's so.
I mean, that's nature of our planet.
No, it's not.
Sex is always high priority.
It's not that. I don't think it's the go-to. I don't think that should be the let's open our borders so we can have sex with aliens. I just come on.
You will see. It will happen soon enough.
I really, that wouldn't have entered in my top 100 things that I would think about when I would first meet an alien.
You don't know humans.
As a Brahmacharyan of almost 30 years, I have to agree with Karen.
Really?
What are you, a Brahmacharini?
Yes.
Oh, so am I. And we have a lot to talk about. Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
It is a person who's
Celibate?
dedicated themselves to service and to God and has put aside who's basically celibate at that point. And it's a sort of religious rite that you take a vow. Yeah,
it's a spiritual discipline, and it did lead to my Kundalini eruption in 2009. I didn't know that that's what it was going to work on doing, but that's what
I
it
think
did.
it evolves. I think for a lot of people who actually become Brahmacharini or become sannyasi, it's something that evolves. It's not even something you even need to actually declare, but it just happens, right?
It was.
I have so much to talk about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I just started wondering what would happen. Like I started suspecting of myself. And it's funny too, because I was actually in a relationship at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a natural unfoldment. I had a curiosity. I looked at it, and as soon as I started looking at it, it's all that was in my life from that point on.
And you have the fullness. It's all about the fullness.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that's way off the topic, but I was just laughing. Max said that I was actually drinking coffee. I had to really like control myself from spitting my coffee. Oh. But I think it's interesting what you're doing, Max, and my curiosity, and I understand why you're wanting to do this on as scientific basis as you can, because it's about presenting it to the cold hard facts part of the world who doesn't make that kind of jump into the spiritual. Like I, actually had a guy call me today who wanted a psychic reading, but he's like, I'm a scientist and I'm skeptical, but at the same time, I don't know where else to turn, And so I feel like that's a lot of the scientific community. They'll entertain it, but they really want some facts as well. And so if Max can quantify, though I do find it a little bit, the only part of this that I feel will be problematic is for the person having to declare from which race they say they're from. Because they could believe they're Pleiadian and they may be Andromedan, or they can believe they're reptilian and they could be Arcturian. And so who's going to make that real determination? And how will that ever really be done? That's my question, because there's a lot of, I can imagine you can find DNA that is different and you can group people into groups that have that similar DNA strand, but how do we know that it's really Pleiadian versus how do we know that it's really Arcturian, other than the person? And the thing is, who's telling them that they're this? Is it an inner knowing? Is it a channel told them? Did the alien himself tell them? Where is that part coming from? That's where I think that this research is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's
True.
difficult. The fun part is developing a questionnaire and actually defining how confident we are they know. Because I know some of the abductees who are super advanced and they have been there consciously, they remember the visits, they have physical proof that they have visited, and they spoke to them face to face, so they are super detailed, and the details actually match. So that story weighs lots more than I read it in a book or saw it on TikTok. I think doing extensive questionnaires and stories and then analyzing with artificial intelligence would help. Hearing their chants, galactic languages would help, because usually you chant in a language which is related to you. And we know the chanting languages pretty well because they come from independent sources, and some of the sources know what language it is. Then there are channelers, so channeling who is also pretty reproducible, especially if we do it repetitively from independent channel. Jim can tell you. Jim can tell you basically, essentially. And finally, I think the aliens would figure out how to give us their own samples. We just need a drop of water sort of size, the apple seed size of tissue to analyze. So eventually I think we'll get some alien tissues as well. So then we'll know for sure. Yeah, but that requires kind of extensive research. It's not just straightforward. It's more like a research thing.
I missed, I came in when Dr. Round was just leaving, but what was his take on all of this? Was he excited? Was he is he contributing anything to
He was certainly excited. I could see it, but I don't understand any word that he says. His microphone is sort of muffled, and my Russian ears are not capable of understanding him. But Americans, I think, understand him.
It was sort of in code. He was alluding to something without actually saying it, so I couldn't determine what it was that he meant. And then he wanted to tell you something about rosacea on the face.
Oh yeah, he said something about if he could tell you what bacteria you had on your face,
and that he took something for it once that worked. Yeah, something like that.
he's very hard to follow, Dr. Ram. But I mean, have you talked to any other scientists that support and would be willing to work with you on this, or is there any, or is it more like you're keeping this to yourself, Max?
Again, it.
I said, are you working with any other scientists, or have you sought guidance or counsel from any other scientists that would, share in this interest with you?
Let me think. I have one scientist who is a geneticist who is a very close co-worker. There is another. So I have a team of scientists who work with me on DNA resonance research, and I run it by them. So basically internal team, yeah. And oh yeah, by the way, I sent it out. I sent the proposal out to my DNA resonance research list, which is about 1,000 people, less than 1,000, 500 people, and I got lots of responses. And it was pretty much all the responses were super interested, super positive. And a friend called, even the friend called several times during my work day. Finally, I got to speak to him, and he spoke for an hour. So it was a lot of excitement from scientists. But these are all alternative. I didn't speak to any mainstream, and I know if I start speaking to mainstream, they will just stonewall, will disconnect. They probably wouldn't even, they will run away. They know it's dangerous, so they will disappear without saying a word. That's how it happens.
Right.
But some of them are the closest is Gary Nolan, I think, is next step.
Not Gary Nolan. Richard Nolan.
No, there is Richard Dolan and Gary Nolan.
Oh, Gary Nolan, Richard Dolan. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to Richard Dolan?
He didn't answer.
Oh, okay.
I sent him the initial request with just 3-liners, and he didn't answer. So I thought that these guys are playing with different stuff. So for them, that might be a bit too far out, I think. So
what about Stephen Greer? Is that too far out for him too? Or
yeah, I think we probably want some light workers rather than hard players.
Yeah,
they're playing with military. I don't want to deal with military at all. Light workers is Starseeds. La 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 la. I just read yesterday there is a book by Shirley MacLaine about that she stopped believing in stuff. I got all over all of that, something like that. Basically the biography, one of the latest ones. And there she said she was sleeping with everybody one at a time, but with leaders of the world and some prime minister, Swedish prime minister and stuff like that, or Swedish prime. So, and she was aware of the alien connections, and it was a time when it was very hot. And she said she had her phone bugged by all sorts of different agencies, and she was followed, and she had a lot of trouble, and she was with lots of trouble until she went into light working, and she became a light worker, essentially speaking about love and light. And she said that then all the following stopped, and she became nobody took her seriously anymore when she publicly announced she's a light worker. So I want to play with my light worker hat on. That's safe and fun.
okay.
And I don't have any secrets. Everything I speak more than I know. No, not the other way around. And I flipped through that instructions for 23andMe, and it's weird. It doesn't even have a page for sample collection. Like step 1, step 3, and mail it, but there is no sample collection, which is weird. I'm sorry, I have to figure out there is something wrong with them. Maybe they just kind of lost a page or something. But the pages steps are numbered. Maybe I need to read it more thoroughly. But there is a step prepare your sample and then send it out, but there is no nothing. Maybe there is a tiny line. It's a small font.
We're supposed to be smart enough to figure it out.
Right. If you can't figure it out, then don't bother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wanted to touch upon another goal, which is super important. So on one of the channeling messages, actually, it was my seminar many years ago, webinar, and somebody came and passed the message from the aliens, and it was saying like, you're so excited about DNA resonance and engineering, genetic engineering, and the alien race warned us. I think they were like far away. I think they were like from somewhere in another galaxy, Andromedan galaxy, that we shouldn't overdo genetic engineering, and we shouldn't get too excited about alien hybridization. So it's very relevant to what we do here in that project. So we're like, yay, alien hybridization, aliens are cool, let's have hybrids. We are hybrids, let's have more hybrids. And by the way, that's one of the reasons to have sex, is to have hybrids. Let's say if you do too much, you mess up things. And then I was thinking and talking to through Jim, to other aliens, and my understanding is that Earth is, although we are hybrids, the planet is sort of took care of the biosphere, of the biofield, collective biofield, that it's super healthy. We are healthy in some ways, and we are multiplying well, population grows, and surprisingly, we don't have too many genetic diseases. We have like maybe 1% or 2%, but not a lot, not tens of percent. So lots of children are born healthy. And that is not only on genetic level, it's also on ethereal level, and maybe on ethereal DNA level. So we have, I think, other strands are out there in the ethereal. And I think if we hybridize a lot, we might lose integrity. The collective biofield might get distorted, like it is distorted for zetas. So we should avoid the fate of zetas by knowing what we are doing when we hybridize. We shouldn't just hybridize randomly. There should be some sort of oversight, collective oversight over extent of hybridization. Right now, it's sort of, they do it secretly, so we can't control it. But once it becomes in open, we should obviously see what comes out and see how the biofield is messed up, because some hybrids just don't survive. So some races hybridize well, like Yael and humans hybridize well, Pleiadians humans. But when you come to other races, it can be not healthy for the collective. And the other thing is the zetas, they removed the aggression gene, and humans have huge, that monkey aggression gene is huge, and predator gene, like we are predators. Our eyes are facing forward. The logical mind is a predatorial mind. I can expand on that. But basically, we think logically. We are predators who are designed to work, make things done, and to kill and to fight. So most of the human races are designed as soldiers. So that sort of is suicidal for the society, but also it's healthy. So if you cut out all the genes for aggression and predation, I think we become disbalanced, and that makes that race sick. If you don't have enough aggression, you might become, the species might become sick. That is a big discovery. It's very controversial. It goes against the humanistic principles, but I think that needs to be researched. At least the claim is that having yin and yang in humans and a lot of darkness is essential. I think that's what makes us energetic. That's what energizes us, having a lot of dark, having a big dark side, develop dark side. At that point, I think everybody should complain. Anybody?
Yeah, actually, may I speak, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so grateful for this discussion. and your last words too. And I'm some kind of your colleague, but I believe in humans and in human consciousness. So my work is in this field where a human can take his power, to make his consciousness higher, to make like human body stronger. And when your human body is strong, actually, usually you are not so dark, you are more kind. You want to share if you are okay, if we speak about human consciousness. And my point, I saw these creatures, these eyes that you girls were talking about, and I believe that it's like maybe it's like consciousness, the one consciousness, like, and it's divided on others' consciousness. And I believe that human body is some kind of receiver for consciousness of others, so we can speak, we can communicate. I don't know about aliens, like physical aliens, but I can see it's more about consciousness that's going into the human body, so we can see each other. And I understand that most humans, they need a mother, like mother, parents. So they are psychologically dependent on something higher, as we need to see like these faces that you were showing us. We need to see these faces like more human. It's like more common for us, it's like about psychology. And I want to ask you, what do you think? Should we give this power to humans, or should we build this like more higher stories, more higher things?
No idea what you're asking.
Excuse me?
I think it was just a random noise, but no, none of the noises is random. It was just aliens speaking. Yeah, so essentially your question is, should we do it ourselves, or should we trust that aliens will help?
Yes, because in your speech it was a lot of, like we should protect ourselves, blah blah blah. It should be anything. So what do you think about it? Isn't it more safe to grow like spirituality like from inside the human on this planet, and maybe communicate as a channel?
All right. In the old days, I trusted that humans are great and humanity is great. Nowadays, when I meet more and more humans from different layers of the society, I realize how messed up the humanity is, and how suicidal it is, and how humans tend to roll back to very low vibrations. Even among yogis, like I go to yoga studio, which is, they raise it like during the session of yoga session, we rise together to very high vibration, and then right after the session, like in minutes, people brrr, and they return back to aggression and separation. Same thing in our yoga and our Hucolo retreats. Nice people come, and they come to very high level of vibration and discussion and thinking, and then right after the official part, people lower, and sometimes they lower to competition and just depression and stuff like that. So it's natural on this planet to sort of decay, and this there is like always a separation between high vibrational individuals, which are very few, maybe less than 1%, and 99% mass which watches TV and is angry, and it's separated. So like us versus them, that separation. So I don't trust humanity a lot into guiding itself forward smartly. I trust it in all sorts of distortions and suicidal tendencies and how do you say, turning into the wrong direction. I think that's part of the fun on this planet. There is a system, the planet itself plays it in such a way that humanity always gets lost. So when it comes to genetic engineering, I think what will happen, it's already happening. Genetic engineering on humans is already happening. Right now it's happening in a small degree, but say genetic engineering of food, the plants and animals is full steam. We're already eating genetically engineered plants here and animals. And it's we already have those things which I shouldn't pronounce, the medications that are injected medications which provide genetic engineering. They already modify the sequences. I mean, they're designed to modify the sequences. So that is already happening, and right now the system is doing it without knowing what is happening, and without clearly disrespecting the harmony in the DNA sequence. They just ignore it completely. They pay attention only to 5%, which is protein coding genes, and 95% of junk DNA, which is non-protein coding. People just ignore it and mess it up. So I know it because I work in that field. We scientists, we analyze the samples, and they just completely don't care about what happens between the genes, between the protein coding genes. So with that tendency, I just see that tendency. It's very easy to mess up the human genome, which is right now is pretty natural. It's alien can help to design it, but then it evolved naturally. There is a natural evolution for thousands of years. It was sort of evolving and purifying itself. It harmonizes itself. So it contains that earth vibrations, the signatures of earth vibrations. So it's right now it's pretty healthy. That's why we are so much interest to aliens to hybridate, because it's a natural, untouched soil, like some forest. It's natural forest. So we have that natural, pristine, pure DNA. So it's important to bring to attention to those who are doing genetic engineering that to respect that purity of the sequence. And can the humanity do it itself? I think it can, but I think we as hybrids have much more understanding what's actually happening there. So it's nice to be, at least to bring it to awareness, if not to guide it, at least to bring to awareness. Now, another part of your question is it like us working on ourselves or us worrying about the whole civilization? Right? Should we change ourselves first, or should we change the civilization first?
Mm-hmm.
And on one level, it is the same. It doesn't really matter. It's like by changing civilization, you change yourself. By changing yourself, you change the civilization. It was a big sort of topic for me yesterday. I was answering to somebody else's question, like, how do you stop the war? And I said, change yourself, the war will stop. It will be stopped, yeah. So for us, it's just a nice, exciting way to meditate. That's like, the whole project is a meditation.
Thank you.
You are it's not that we are changing others by meditating. We are changing others, which are also us. You and I and everybody is one person pretending to be different people. We kind of split, but by changing ourselves, we change everybody else around.
Yeah, so that's the main point. Should we call something like aliens and introduce it to people, you know, like you want to do it, or should we work from the spirit to understand our nature and our capabilities?
Right. Again, both paths are, from my perspective, both paths are great. And when I do my speaking and mental work, I think it's also spiritual work. But when with some people, like lots of people, they especially my yogis, they treat mind and thinking as sin, and they are not afraid of anything except mind. Mind for them is a huge detractor and main cause of all troubles. So for them, the best meditation is avoiding thinking. And for me, I sort of am in peace with myself. Even mind is okay. I sort of like to oscillate. I'm oscillating between physical mind and intuitive heart mind, and especially I like to work through my belly. So my belly mind is big for me. So pretty much most of my mental meditation is through my belly. I'm working with my belly. It's not that it's in good shape, but that's how I operate. I'm thinking with my belly and sort of the fun part is bringing you all versions of me together, which is right now we have 7 here. All versions of me are here, so I work collectively. That's us, me, us coming together to work together. I like public collective projects. That's my way of operating.
Got it.
And another funny thing, I'm at the same moment I'm running the second webinar on the other channel. It's not me there physically, but I just started it and jumped to this one. So I'm running 2 collective projects at the same time. We have another 10 people there doing another part of that project. It's a Russian singing project, but it's still same vibration, I guess. They're stopping the war this way.
And may I ask, like Karen and Wendy and Casey, maybe they can add something to my question from their point of view.
Please.
No, nobody here.
I can say, I don't think it's for us to say what we all should do. I think that we can't prescribe to the whole world what they should do to grow spiritually. And if you take the perspective like Max, that his science work is his spiritual work, which is true in any way that you're trying to serve humanity, then he is doing what he needs to do. And everybody also needs to work on themselves as well as doing the external stuff. I don't think it's one or the other. That was just my feeling. It's all part of it. Everything is spiritual because we're spiritual beings in a human body, not the opposite. So there's nothing that isn't spiritual that we're doing. There's preferred and non-preferred. There's beneficial and unbeneficial, but it's all spiritual. So I think if we make that distinction and we start saying, well, we should do this, well, we're telling other people what they should do. And I don't think it's for us to say, except that I'm now saying what we should do. So again, it's your choice. But my feeling is that we follow what we feel is what we're pulled to do. So my pull and your pull could be very different, and I'm going to be true to mine, and you should be true to yours, you know, in that philosophy. And then we're all doing the right thing. That would be the thing I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I would
Yeah.
add that reality is always from the inside out. It's just our current capacity to see and understand that ourselves. For instance, everything that I'm doing, this is an awakening that happened within me from the spiritual realms and is now pouring out of me, although other people may just see it from the outside and just that last version of it in which it's spilling out. But that's not where it started. Reality is always from the inside out. Idea or thought, manifestation of thought. And then we tinker around with those and see if we can create something with those ideas and thoughts in our world. Yes, sometimes without much awareness or understanding of what might happen. But this is the playground for that. You know, push the X button and see what the X ride is. I mean, that's how we do things here. Because everything else is hidden from our awareness in 3D. We're only aware of that just very narrow bandwidth. And so it's, you know, take a step and see if you fall or if you fly. But you have to take that step. And it started from the inside. From our spirituality. Reality is always from the inside out.
Yeah,
So that
I was answering somebody like a friend. Unfortunately, he doesn't speak much English, so he couldn't come. He said me like, you say, like he said that we how we say that he is so negative and he creates negativity in his life. You know, how could he create something like a war? And he's like really worried about the war. And it took like a lot of time to figure out what to answer, because it's weird. Like, how can my negativity create the war? And the answer came out that it's impossible from this here physical plane to give the complete model, to create a complete model which is not self-contradictory. All answers will be incomplete. There is no good answer. So basically, the essential, it's impossible to give the proper answer. But from where I am now, it looks like the spirit first creates DNA, then it creates the body around this DNA, and then it creates the whole world around the body. So by changing yourself, you change the whole world around you. Basically, there is no one else in the room. There is only you creating everything else. So by being negative, you create the war outside, and by somehow changing yourself, you can end the war. And he says, how about the other people? And the other people are also you. There is no one else. It's you, and the other person is you, just split into yourself and others. So all the billion people and infinite number of aliens and all other bacteria and viruses, it's all you, just split through a prism and complicated transformations and the planets and stars. It's all you. So you are here, and by changing your body, you change everything. It's that weird. And I know that from trips. When you trip, you just see how the outside world just is created from inside. It's just a projection. It's your body and then projects out. There is nothing else. You are alone actually, but it's fun to talk to yourself through that sort of Zoom. That's my current model, which is actually Ram Dass's model, but I mean it's the best model I have at the moment. But it doesn't help to win the lottery or to get lots more money right away. It's just That is, the matrix is built in such a way, programmed in such a way that you have to do your work to actually to create stuff. Unless you know the secret, teach me one. It would be nice to kind of make it. That's my approach. To make it happen, I have to speak here and create a collective excitement. And if it doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. By the way, I found the word. It was small text, but in this step 3, it says fill up their tube. You actually have to speed there. It's about that much of speed, like that much of you have to like actually speed a lot there, and then that's what it is collected. You don't even do the brush; you do spitting. Okay, Karen says bye, and actually we are. I think we are. Wow, how did you do that? Can I do that? No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen on my screen. Wow. Can I click some button? I don't know. Do you see it on your screen? It doesn't happen on my screen.
Some upgrade that I didn't do it. Some upgrade, the system upgrade on my computer made it do it. So like 1 thumb and you can get a little thummy guy, and 2 thumbs and you get fireworks.
Wow.
Yeah.
It may become darker, but nothing happens. How about that? Become in peace. It's Hebrew letter Shem, which means life. All right. I think we are closing. Anybody like? How about doing? Oh, Galina. Yeah, Galia. Oh, turn on the microphone and camera a little down.
Yeah.
Yep, nice.
Just want to say thank you for inviting me. It was very interesting discussion, and Casey has very interesting project with crystals. I'm excited to hear about it. Yeah, I will try. We see some faces in the crystal and on tree, maybe, I don't know, but I definitely will try it. I never think about it.
Thanks, Galia. And Wendy, would you like to speak and do your magic? And Dave, nice to see you here.
I just wanted to say, it's good to see you too, Max. It's always nice to be here. Thank you for this conversation. I love every aspect of everything that we've discussed today. It's fascinating. All of it. It's things that I want to say really the nuts and bolts of it is that we're coming to know thyself. And really, I think that is the number one experience with all of us. So everything that we all said today is all correct. And we don't know what we don't know, and that's even more exciting. I've always believed in all of this, and all of the threads that are a part of all of these conversations are precisely what excites me about sharing all the time is how is all this stuff connected? What is that first question I had when I was a little kid looking up at the sky going, how is all this connected? Because there's more than what we know. And so I'm always excited to share these things and how all of it, just my DNA and the aliens and light language and spirituality and meditation, how is all that connected, and chakras and colors and all of that. And it's very, very exciting. Go ahead, Dave. I know Dave wants to say something really quick.
I always enjoy hanging out with Max and all our friends here.
Dave.
I want you to consider the idea that we're not stuck in the matrix. We are the matrix, and we are the ones creating it.
Yep.
And it's up to us to decide what we want it to look like.
Can you
Shabbat shalom.
shapeshift? Can you shapeshift? Can you shapeshift
Oh, say it again.
on camera?
Can I shape?
Yeah.
Sure. What do you want me to shift into?
I like dragons. Can you do a dragon?
Dragon. We have a lot of dragons behind us.
Yeah, we have a lot of dragons behind us. A lot of crystals.
Actually, when you were speaking, your shape shifted a bit. Right now you cleared up, but when you were speaking, there was like natural distortion, supernatural distortion.
Perception of reality.
Say something in Hebrew.
I said Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, yes, you did.
Baruch atah Adonai.
No,
Today. Oh, we could Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'achiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higyanu lazman hazeh. That's sort of a blessing for new things.
In Hebrew.
In Hebrew.
Nasiato beshe, unoma e pona kieta besabo, hushua, inebu, homa, ishawaha, ono hushua, ihina, okwaha, turu, eshekwa, hena waha, kewer ushokwa, inde ashakahi, seriko. Honaya ko, honaya ko, honaku hashe, honyalo koshu, anaha sheto horshu wakwa ine ikwasho oaha. It is an honor and a pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
In your image, there is two beams of light coming from the lamps in the ceiling, but they kind of right go in your heads, or the other way, from the heads up. Naya 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 na 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 na. Oh naya 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 na 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 naya na 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 na. Ulahana ulaya haya 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 na oh alaya haya na hunayana ula na 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 ya na 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 hunaya.
Okay, bye.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Bye, everybody.